Hello and welcome everybody. In today's video we're going to be checking out the G.I. Joe classified series Cobra Island Major Bludd. Honestly, there hasn't been a figure that has had so much fiasco going on behind the scenes in many years as there is here with Major Bludd. There were some leaks way back, I would say about 3 months ago, of some of the package art. Then one of these actually leaked on eBay and went for a whopping price of around $25,000, and since then he has gone for the roughly $600, $300. Honestly, it's just astronomical, and no figure, especially a G.I. Joe classified series release, is worth that price tag. These do retail for roughly $20. Hasbro really do need to get their head into gear in regards to distribution, as these things are near enough impossible for use in the US to actually obtain and are near enough extinct when it comes to UK distribution. And it's such a shame, as I do believe the classified series is probably Hasbro's best action figure line to date. But nevertheless, taking a look here at Major Bludd, honestly I've been really excited for this figure. I'm a huge fan of the character as well as the character design, and I think they've done a really good job in updating him here for this classified line. You can see that he is a part of the Cobra Island series, which is more than likely once again a Target exclusive, and we all know how elusive the Baroness was to obtain, as well as Firefly and of course the Cobra Viper. But regardless, you can see we've got a really nice piece of actual character art here on the side, as well as the figure clearly displayed with all of his different accessories. As we spin around here to the side, we've got all of the various different logos, which I believe you can scan in order to decode on their website. And as we spin around here onto the back, you can see we've got a really awesome map piece, which I believe is actually different from the first Cobra Island figures that we got, such as of course the Heavy Infantry Duke as well as Beachhead. And here on the side we've once again got a brand new piece of box art. He is number 27 in the series, so without further ado, let's crack Major Bludd open and see as to whether or not the hype is worth it. So here we have Major Bludd, and yes, this figure is of course awesome, but definitely not $25,000 awesome, and by no stretch of the imagination scalper price awesome. I'm really hoping that this guy is available in more quantities than some of their previous Target exclusives, although judging by some of the listings, it does appear as if though he's only going to be one case of 6 per store, which is just ridiculous, especially considering how scalper bait these figures are. But nevertheless, taking a look here at Major Bludd, you can see the figure really does look awesome. I was quite surprised to see that the main body essentially is just that of a Cobra Trooper. They have nearly just given him a brand new vest unit, as well as some new pouches and of course belt, and he now is of course sporting that cybernetic arm. As far as his accessories are concerned, he does come with a very toy accurate looking blaster. You can see the detail and the sculpt work on this too looks really awesome, and he also does include 2 missiles. Now these can be removed and actually inserted into the tip here of the gun, but personally I find this here to look a little ridiculous, and it's definitely not a display that I shall be using on my shelf. We do also get included this backpack, and you can see some nice sculpt work here. This has merely just been cast out of black plastic, and it would have been nice if they could have maybe painted the tip here of the missile in a nice red. But we also do get included another revolver, and this looks excellent. You can see some superb looking detail on this, as well as a silver barrel section there. And I think this has turned out really awesome, and can of course actually be inserted into this pouch on the side of the leg. And then the final accessory we get included is Major Bludd's helmet. Now the sculpt work on this is very basic, very simplistic, but more than effective, and I love how snug it does in fact actually sit over the top of the head. It doesn't look out of place and really does look as if though it's part of the sculpt, which is excellent. But just removing that in order to take a closer look here at the details, the head sculpt looks remarkable. I think it's probably one of the best head sculpts we've gotten out of the line so far. We've got some really awesome battle scars here on the side. I think the hair textures turned out really well with that silver streak at the top. You can also see some really nice details for the moustache, the eyebrows, as well as this really cool snarling expression that he's pulling off. Unfortunately, they haven't decided to paint this section red, which is depicted on the actual box art. That would have been really cool, but it is an easy enough fix, and I don't think it looks too bad. The detail is still there, so it will be really easy just to run a little bit of red over the top. But the scarring I think's turned out really nicely. We do get some dog tags which are removable, so I guess you could also count these as one of the accessories. But I think the sculpt on these two's turned out really nicely. And then we come to this very awesome, very cybernetic-esque looking vest piece. Now the sculpt work on this is really cool, and I was actually quite surprised to see that this does not hinder articulation at all, unlike the Cobra Trooper and Cobra Infantry, but we'll discuss that later on in the review. You can see here for the shoulder pad we've got some nice decals, and I really love the very cybernetic arm that we've got going on here. It certainly is a lot more slender when in comparison to his more humanoid arm, and I definitely think that it matches what we saw from that original character design. Turning our attention here down to the lower section, this is where you are going to see quite a lot of reuse from that Cobra Trooper. I believe the entire leg section as well as this piece is just a reuse, and it is merely just the feet sections which do in fact differ. But the pouch here that holsters the actual gun is completely a brand new sculpt, as so is the belt, and you can see the silver hasn't been applied the best, but it's definitely not the worst. And as we turn here to the back, you can once again see some nice texture detail there to the trousers. And as we take a look here towards the feet, you can see some nice silver highlights, as well as this very cool leathery effect, which I think once again has turned out exceptionally well. They haven't decided to paint the Cobra insignia here on the back of the hand, and we can't really see much from the box art, so I am unable to tell as to whether or not this was left out for laziness or if this is actually how the design is supposed to look. But this entire arm here is once again just a carryover from that original Cobra Trooper. As far as articulation is concerned, the line is just exceptional. So we do get a ball joint here at the top, which can look up and down as well as tilt side to side, rotate left to right. We also do get a ball peg in the neck, so that does allow you to amplify the range of motion, although due to the thickness of the neck piece, it can slightly restrict articulation, but it definitely isn't that bad. We do get butterfly joints forwards and backwards, and the same can also be said here for the cybernetic arm. The shoulder pad is in fact attached to this, so when you do rotate it, it will not just stay at the top, which is something that I'm actually glad of, as that was a critique I had on the Zartan figure. And you can also see some nice detailing as well as wiring and mechanical components embedded in the actual shoulder joint there, which is a really nice touch. We do get a full rotation here at the bicep, double joint here at the elbow. The wrist can rotate the full 360 as well as hinge forwards and backwards, and the same can also be said here for this arm, although the hinge at the hand is in fact up and down instead of in and out. We do get an ab crunch, and once again this isn't so much compromised by the vest, so you can arch that all the way back as well as crunch it a decent amount forwards. Of course, you can also utilize the ball peg that we get for the torso, which can also rock side to side. We get drop down hips, so we can extend them in order to get a better range of motion kicking forwards, as well as of course kicking out to the side. And we also do get a full rotation there at the thigh. Double joints here at the knees, which are all very stiff and tight and are in fact held together by some indented ratchet joints, I believe. And then we do also get a rotation here at the boot, rotation at the ankle rocker, as well as a pivot here for the foot. So overall, as far as articulation is concerned, it is pretty much what we have all come to know and love here with the classified line. And once again, I was very surprised to see that he isn't all that limited, considering that he does have that PVC chest piece attached. The detail looks excellent. I think he comes with a good array of accessories. The figure looks awesome. As mentioned, he is one of my favorite designs out of the entire classified line so far. So let's bring in some comparisons with some of the other Cobra guys and see how he stacks up amongst some of his other fellow pals. So here for that Cobra Trooper and Infantry comparison, you can once again see, as mentioned earlier on in the review, that they do pretty much share the exact same sculpt as far as the torso is concerned. Of course, you can't really see it all that much due to the nature of the design here of the Cobra Infantry vest, but the arm is exactly the same, as so is the legs all the way down to the actual boot cut. So the boots are a brand new sculpt, but the rest of the trousers as well as the back piece is indeed the exact same. You can also see the Cobra insignia here on the side, which is unpainted on both of them, which is a shame. And of course, considering these two are essentially just the same, the Cobra Trooper, I believe, does also share very similar parts count. But as far as a head-to-head is concerned, they are pretty much exactly the same. If anything, the Cobra Trooper may in fact be ever so slightly smaller at the head, but that is just dependent on whether or not you have the helmet installed. But I think they look really cool together. And here for one final comparison, here we have Major Bludd compared next to some of the other Cobra 6-inch figures, and I all think they look really excellent. As mentioned, Major Bludd definitely does fit into this line superb. His design is not 100% accurate to how that original classic design did turn out, but it does appear as if though they are updating these figures and are giving them a slightly more realistic and stylistic approach, which I actually think benefits him. I think he looks awesome. Besides some missing silver paint to the chest piece and of course that red section for the eye patch, I really don't think that he looks too bad at all. I think he is certainly one of the better G.I. Joe classified figures, but it is just a shame that he is going to be yet again another Target exclusive, which means that he will more than likely come to the UK in very limited quantities, all at a markup price when in comparison to what he really should be, around $20. Overall, if you can find this figure at retail, I would highly recommend to go for it. I would not recommend paying scalper prices, definitely nowhere near to the extent that we've seen online. The $25,000 as well as the $600, the $300, all of that is just absolutely ridiculous. These should be priced at $20, and Hasbro have pretty much got distribution sorted for Marvel Legends, so it's quite surprising to see how difficult some of these figures are in fact able to acquire. I've had to pick pretty much all of them up on the aftermarket for markup prices and have only been able to actually find a few at regular retail price, so I'm hoping that Hasbro do sort this out in the future. I guess we'll just have to wait and see until June next month as to whether or not they do in fact address the situation in regards to availability. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do let me know down in the comment section below. As always, be sure to let me know on whether or not Major Bludd here is a figure that you are planning to add to your collection, and what do you guys all think of the classified series distribution. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.